got one that can see.
Logic before authority. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. Well, we're going to take a look at all the comments from people all over the country that were in, mostly all comments from people who were in partial eclipses on the 8th of April. And we're going to be, the main focus was I asked people, how many of you noticed that it got dark twice during the eclipse? Not only 2 minutes apart or 4 minutes apart or whatever, or 10 minutes, but a good distance of time apart. And I got over 300 comments from y'all guys, and I've got everyone, I think I've got 95% of them that made a reference to the fact that it did get dark twice. And a lot of other interesting information has shown up in here in the comments. And then there's a few other interesting things kind of mixed in that I've taken pictures of, or either someone shared with me, or either I caught. But yeah, so we're just gonna go through in no particular order, okay, and take a look at it. And then I actually have a couple of videos too as well that I'm going to show you, because the object that looked like a shadow flying in the sky that looked like it had wings, it was spotted a bunch of other times. And the one that looked like it was a fire in the sky, like this video here, where the guy was filming and it looked like a fire, okay? Well, guess what? Somebody else filmed the same thing from a different location. So we're going to take a look at those, and I don't have the answers as to at this point what it means, but this is for all of us. I'm sharing my knowledge. Since I have the ability to communicate with tens of thousands of people, I'm sharing this knowledge with y'all guys, okay? So let's just start off with the first one, I reckon. And it says, the first video you showed, that was the correct location of the devil/dragon comet. I was happy you showed this. I'm an astronomer, and I had overcast skies in Canada. Thanks for showing. The 7 angles came out of the temple. 7 angels, I think he meant, came out of the temple when the sun was eclipsed. Revelation 15 fulfilled April 8th, 2024. Well, might as well go ahead and show you what he's referring to. Let's show you this video here first. Okay. So you see this object up here. Now this guy was filming the eclipse, and I showed this in my last video, I think it was. It was during totality, okay? And he looked over and he could see Venus at the lower right. And then he turned his camera over here, as you can see, and he brought it in, and he could see this thing floating around. I have another video from another person who took this video and seen a similar thing. Here's what's interesting that I'm seeing in the footage. Of course, you're going to need a bigger monitor. It's going to be hard to see on a cell phone, but I can try to help. Let me put this magnifier on it here. You see that it has like a dark spot on top of what looks like flame, right? Now, this gentleman's saying this might have been the comet, and we could see it particularly well for some reason. He says he's an astronomer. I don't know this gentleman, okay? But he's claiming this would have been the proper location. I'm not sure, because I thought it would have been way higher up in the sky, up there by Jupiter. So I'm just telling you and showing you what he wrote, okay? But I find this object, no matter what, extremely interesting, because it looked like a flame in the sky, and it has this dark, shadowy looking object right above it, okay? And you would say, well, that's just smoke, Daniel. Smoke from what? In order to have smoke particles, you have to have something disintegrating, burning up. like a tree stump, or a piece of wood, or a house, or a car, or something that has particles that are floating into the air, creating the smoke. What is this that has smoke sitting on top of it? In the next video I'm going to show you here in just a minute, you can see it much better, the smoke that is. So I'll let this play on through here a little bit more. That might be the devil's comet. They got something called the devil's comet. It almost looks like, and I'll just say what it almost looks like. I'm not saying this is what it is. It almost looks like something riding the back of it. Like a shadowy, dark figure riding the back of this flame. I'm just saying what it kind of looks like. I don't know what it is. But let's look at it some more. Look that way. Now, as you can see, the tail of this thing, if this was the comet, why is the angle of the tail changing so much? And you can see what looks like even flames and sparkles of fire coming out behind it. And you say, well, that's just a comet. No, I don't think so. But I'm not giving you a hard time, Mr. Astronomer. I'm just saying, how is this a comet? And the angle of the tail is swishing around like it's swimming in the sky. You see how now the angle of the tail is almost straight up? It is straight up right now. But back here, it's to the side. You see that? A comet doesn't change directions in seconds like that, does it? Of course, we don't even know what a comet really is, do we? They tell us it's a snowball. I say that's horse caca. That is not no snowball. Neither is this a snowball, and neither is any comet you see in the sky, like a rocky snowball flying through the heavens. No, that's nonsense. I know more and understand more about what a comet is, and I would say it like this. It's more like the essence of something coming down to the earth, like something being cast forth to the earth, the seed of something being cast forth. All right, with that being said, and I'm going to get more into depth and what I mean by that here in the near future. Now, this guy, here's another video. Let's just watch it through here from the beginning.
I was watching the eclipse, then I saw this.
You see that? That's pretty interesting. Let me bring it forward, and I'll put my magnifier on it so you can see it a little bit better. He zooms in. Let's see how far he gets in. He gets in about right here. This is about it. Okay, so now let me bring up my magnifier. Oh, that's not the magnifier. This is. Okay, right here. Now, you can see, like I said, it has like something dark sitting on top of it. You see that? And this thing is moving around like it's a flame, but it has just a dark spot sitting on top of it. Let me see if I can hit play and bring this back a ways. Well, there you have it. I don't know what that is, but that is what our first commenter is talking about there. So we'll go back to the comments. ERI Crackman 777. I appreciate your comment, buddy. And that is interesting. And then maybe you're right. And maybe they're lying to us. Maybe you can comment again down below and tell us why you're saying that is, and that it's not close to Jupiter. And it even was supposed to be above Jupiter and to the right, according to what they said. Of course, we know they're liars. I'd rather believe what you're saying. All right, says Daniel. man's in Tennessee. It says Tennessee and Louisiana just made this is something a little different, made laws that it's illegal to chemtrail their state. Tennessee even went further to ban GMO seeds from their state. I'm going to look into that, but I hope you are right, Tia Main 5281. I hope you're right, and thank you for sharing that. This is me just showing an example of when I look at my cell phone. When I pull up my cell phone, here, I'll show you. I'll open this one up real quick. Over and over all the time, I open up my cell phone. It's just the moment I pick it up and open it, it'll have 9/11 or 11/9 or some version of that on the phone over and over every day, multiple times a day. We'll probably see a few more of these as we're going through here. I think it's a supernatural warning, to be honest with you. Okay, says this is another kind of off comment, but we're going to get to the darkness twice in a day comments here. I'm going to have to move quickly because we got a lot of them. It also wants the she said it also was the anniversary for their religion, Thelma, where this is Aleister Crowley, related to him and the fact that he wrote the Satanic Bible starting on April 8th. And it supposedly took him 3 days and finished it in 3 days. Interesting, it was 3 days. Interesting, it was April 8th. And yeah, I appreciate the comment. Says where it was time to bring Horus through, God allowed the pit of hell to open. It also is a new era for them. We are now entering the Great Tribulation. I don't doubt that. That's for sure. Let me see here. This is the first part of the comment we were just looking at back here. We got to read this part first. This is the next comment from Sis Andy. It says, it happened here twice, meaning getting dark. Started at 3:06. First time we didn't have glasses, so we stayed in. I thought it was over, so I started to get back to work at my home job. Then I told my grown grandson, it's getting dark again. My mom came over and offered her glasses for the second viewing. I kid you not, she just thought it was lasting longer than they thought we were supposed to see it. But it got dark twice in my home. We had hardly any lights on in the house. We were watching the live feeds on YouTube. We live in Northeast Georgia, close to Anderson, South Carolina. Yep, and I'm up close to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And yeah, it got dark twice here too. It was a good bit of time in between, at least 30 minutes from what I remember, just going off my memory. This is a recall that came out that was sent to me by David, Jesus Freak Computer Geek. If you're not subscribed to his channel, I suggest you go do that. Jesus Freak Computer Geek. This says FDA notice hand sanitizer recalled amid warnings it could cause comas or blindness and a bunch of other things because the stuff is poison. You think they really gave you something and told you that would help you and give you something? No. It's all poison. This is just an image I took of somebody who took a really strange image in the woods. That could be foot drag from a bear. I don't know. Anyways, I saved it. Skies, this is Bobby DeVale. Skies were completely sprayed silver and towards the south had the black dripping down. Then at about 4 p.m., all of the western skies had the black gunk dripping down from the skies. They really socked it to us yesterday with this garbage they spray. Talking about the fact that all the skies were sprayed all over. It was incredible. Rhonda says, yes, about 20 minutes, I'd say, or a little longer. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. My son went to watch the eclipse. He's 16. I told him not to. The little crap did anyways. He threw up afterwards. So did his girlfriend. They said it was from some food they ate. And I'm a Jesus conspiracy loony, LOL. Anyway, pray for my boy. He feels better. Yes, Rhonda, I hope he does feel better. But the children, they don't like to listen, just like us being rebellious to our Father in heaven. This is an image I just happened to run across, and it has to do with Oreo cookie and all the satanic and Freemason symbolism that is on there. This symbol right here basically means April 8th. It means the X is what this means. I know you might not understand it. It's called the Satanic Cross. But this symbol is Phoenician for, and they used it in Egypt and way back in the Egyptian times and everything. They used it in their symbolism and all of that as well. But yeah, it's all over the Oreo cookie and related to these times. Here's another 9/11 on my phone that I happened to snag again, of course. Like I was telling you, I screenshot them. When I just happen to pick up my phone and it's 9/11 all the time, you better pay attention. This is a couple of images. The day after the eclipse, I think it was, I took these. It's just the moon laying on its back, and it looks kind of like, well, it kind of reminds me of devil horns. You can kind of see it right here. It's laying on its back. Looks like devil horns, kind of. Not a, the sun and the moon are for signs and times and such. So I pay attention to everything. Okay, I'm in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, and took a 48-hour time-lapse video. If you want me to send it to you, I said, yes, please. Call me at 843-402-8827. That is the phone number for the Supernatural Show, and you'll either get me or Miss Kim or Dan or possibly Shannon, or worst case, you'll get a voicemail. But either way, we'll get the message. So if you would give us a call during the daytime, I'll probably get your call and I can get that video from you. Okay, I'd appreciate that. All right, I think I took this one by accident. I think this person says, yes, Detroit area. And in Kentucky, it's weird when the so-called moon covered, I got overwhelming feeling to start crying. And I think I took that screenshot by accident. There's a few of those in here. The moon, Jocelyn says, 23 Jocelyn says, the moon passing between the earth and the sun is black. Don't you think that it's in itself is strange? I mean, really, think about it. I think we've been lied to for all these years about a supposed sky event, and the veil's a bit thinner this year. And that thing about firing 3 rockets into the moon's shadow, what shadow exactly? He shot in the dark? That moon had a mind of its own this time, just wobbled all over the place, was moving east to west, then all of a sudden just shot straight up. Yeah, that was strange. I mean, I could possibly try to explain why that is, but it was moving from right to left and then shot straight up. That is interesting, but it could have been, I don't know. This video isn't about conclusions. This video is about questions. Okay. So that, and then it says, and all the while the sun was having major spasms. Yeah, spasms. You could use the word climaxes. I'll explain that in another video soon enough. This one says, says ether real energy 9471. Yes, I know that it got dark twice. That guy on Flat Out Truth YouTube channel also mentions it. If it was the moon, you would have seen a lot more than you did, and nobody saw the moon before or after the eclipse. Well, except for that video we did see in the last video where a gentleman filmed the totality and then looks over to the left and the moon's in the sky. I didn't see that. I didn't see the moon at the time before or after the eclipse at all. And, you can try to explain that away, but it is pretty strange. Okay, so this is Victoria through Joshua or something like that. This is a different comment than what you're discussing. About 10 years ago when I lived in Kentucky, there was a day when the sun was shining with no clouds, but it was very dark in the sense like a huge shadow was over the earth. We were driving and I knew something strange was happening. This is just about the time they started chemtrailing, which I noticed right away as well. Perhaps the same event occurred yesterday, and they covered this event saying an eclipse. I think they have fake sun. I think they have fake sun and moon somehow and are covering up the bigger object that passes by, darkening the sky. Well, that's an interesting observation, you might say. The Patricia Sunday Ministries 9987 says chemtrails were everywhere. I believe there was a twofold purpose. Metallic particles were to deflect how much radiation was coming down, or maybe it was to deflect, this is my words, to deflect certain bandwidths of light, or to create a artificial veil in the sky, or you might call it a projection screen in the sky. These kind of things are possible at this point when you know that they've got 50,000 airplanes, it seems like, in the sky all over the country spraying at one time. It was like the biggest spraying day in history, it seems like. They were spraying everywhere. And I had cameras on the ground all the way up and down the United States filming live during the live show the other day. So anyways, it says radiation coming down. Also, they were hiding the red dragon coming in. The reason they want people to wear the special glasses is because it blocks out a lot of this planetary system. Of course, you put those on and you're basically blind. We filmed through a phone camera and caught a lot of phenomenon. They were encouraging people not to do this. Behind the sun was a second sun and moon and planets of binary solar system. I was in North Florida in clear sky, and we got more than we expected to see. The sun was pulsating in and out, and this was supernatural. I did notice 2 darker times because the sun began the pulsating effect. If you look at the Dallas, Texas feed and watch lights go up and a black figure flying down out of the black sun, paganism, just reading her words, which I believe was Lucifer / Satan, and it looked like a black angel or bird. It was a high watch witchcraft pagan day, and CERN was pulling through demons. If you notice the different cities' eclipses, each one seemed to have a different color ring around it, which was odd. I also heard that they were spraying the spectators with a red spray reminiscent of Agent Orange in Vietnam that poisoned so many of our own soldiers. Yep, interesting, very interesting. And we're going to show you, I've got some little bit of footage of the dark angel that was flying around. Let's go and take a look at that. Might as well. Let's see, where are we at? Right here. Let's watch this now.
The following are 3 witness videos from witnesses across the state of Texas. They captured footage of that unidentified object that was seen during the eclipse.
This is footage you probably haven't seen.
Some people said it was a rocket. Some people said it was a UFO. Some even said it was iron.
Now, this has obviously been slowed down, but you can see this dark shadow, flying across the sky, similar to the dark shadow that was sitting on top of that ball of fire. What are we looking at here?
Man or Superman, but truly we have no idea what the heck this thing was. Take a look at these next 3 videos and really pay attention to that last one, because that last one, the shape is different. Tell me what you think.
Es que eso que se vio negro.
Yo no sé qué fue lo que cayó, Si fue un murciélago, que yo sé que cayó algo del cielo. Fíjense bien el video. Wow, digo, como no sé, y se desapareció. Chequen bien el video, mi gente. Jesús, Dios también hará.
I mean, can you help but bring to mind, like, I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning or something like that? And what did I say on my previous videos prior to the eclipse? What was coming down? When would Satan arrive? When would Satan's son or his essence appear? When would he fall out of the sky? All the symbolism surrounding this all pointed in that direction. That's why I was saying these things before the eclipse. And you can see by the reflection right here, this lens flare. Let me show it real quick. See that lens flare? It shows you that it was almost 100% totality. And here comes this thing falling down out of the sky. Are you kidding me? Let's watch that again.
The shape is different. Tell me what you think.
Es que eso que se vio negro.
Yo no sé qué fue lo que cayó.
Looks like it's falling out of the sky. There ain't no airplane.
Wow, Dios,
it's a shadow figure.
No sé, y se desapareció. Chequen bien el video, mi gente. Jesús, Dios también hará ojo. Mire bien el video, mire.
Almost totality.
This is so cool.
And of course, we've seen this one. And of course, this was almost during totality. And this thing looks like it has wings that's flapping. I'm not kidding. Watch. Let me pull up my magnifier again. Let's see, it was right around in here, I think.
Mira, yo lo estoy grabando.
Magnifier is not helping. But she noticed too, it has a different shape. And what it is it looks like there are wings flapping on it. I mean, I showed this before, but it looks like wings on it to me. So that is what the commenter was speaking about when they were in the previous comment. Okay, so we've got Melody Clark, Northwest Arkansas, 2 hours from Missouri border. It was definitely dark twice. I stayed inside, but the first dark was very dark. Started noticeably lighten, and what seemed seconds later darkened again and lasted longer. Okay. Next one is Mike Schoolcraft 21. No birds, no clouds in North Carolina. It was very quiet and still a little after 3. The only day in a very long time that they were not spraying or flying at all, so he didn't see any chemtrail. It was like a dimmer switch and flashed twice. So another interesting comments there. This is a photo. Let me open it up and zoom it in. This was a photo from a video from someone who was filming the eclipse. And this is not a lens flare over here. See this body? There's a body about the size of the moon right here. You can see the faint outline of it coming around, and then see the crescent side of it here. I don't think that's a lens flare off of the eclipse. I'm not sure for sure what it is we're looking at, because we've been lied to so much we can't believe anything these days. But there you have it. There's the video You can look it up if you want to. Okay. Pearl Brown 177. Dark 2 times. Last time darker. Michigan. Okay. Holocross 49. I wasn't in totality. I am in Phoenix, Arizona, but the eclipse started at 10:08. It ended at 12:30, and it did get dark again near the second half of the eclipse, so around like noon or 12:05. Thank you. Anita Fester's 1816. I was in 98.7% totality, which is very close to 100%, obviously. It never got dark. It got less light briefly, but boy, did it go back to normal quite quickly. I'm in Southwest Ohio. I've had a few people say that we'll probably see them here if I can get through everything today. That said that they were expecting it to get a little bit dark, and there was no darkness, or very, very little. That's another strange attribute. What we're doing is trying to pick up patterns in the attributes of what people were seeing. These are our eyewitnesses. We can trust these comments way more than anything you see on the media or the television. Okay, Amy Petra, 5021. Yes, I did, meaning notice about getting dark twice. I didn't think anything about it because it was partially cloudy and I'm in Bend, Oregon. I was out with my dog maybe half of an hour or 45 minutes apart, meaning the two periods of darkness were half an hour to 45 minutes apart. That's what I noticed, was about half an hour to 45 minutes apart as well, Amy. Thank you for your comment. M. Stevens, 816. I'm in Melbourne, Florida, and it got dim twice with about 10 minutes in between. I got very dizzy twice, which is typical for me because I'm energy sensitive. Thank you, M. Stevens. Corrine Butterworth, 904. I'm in Maryland, and it seemed to start around 2-ish till just after 4. It was very cloudy, so a lot of the view was blocked off and on. But I saw that flash, and then it got dark again in a little, in a something other lit. It lit the cameras outside. Made the cameras outside come on twice, is what she's saying. Thank you very much. Puff 8142. It definitely got dark twice. I'm in Toronto, Canada. We had heavy cloud cover and I should say chemtrails, which started early and heavy in the morning. I have proof as my car's automatic light sensor turned the headlights on while I was driving on an open road with the sky above me. I also felt the darkness twice. Yes, you can feel darkness, as moonlight is entirely different to sunlight and has a very different effect on plants, animals, and people. Thank you, Pop 81. I'm in Perth, Washington, Australia. Now, this is an out of the area one, but the time of the eclipse here, it was night, but it was bright like it was a full moon. Then after 1 a.m., the sky went really dark. Strange. So they were just noticing their sky looking strange during the time of the eclipse in the U.S. over in Australia. I greatly appreciate LJ Quinn, 4655. The real mercy of God. I honestly am starting to consider the blocking of the sun they have been talking about. Could have been an artificial eclipse. It could have been. Something was not right. I know that because it does not get dark twice, even 10 minutes apart. It doesn't work that way. Glad you brought this up. I said the same thing. It got dark, bright, and then when it was fully covered, it got brighter exactly as you explained. I thought it was 100% BS. Thank you, Silent Walk, 1768. Era 224, I saw it, Daniel, in my area, sir. It was crazy stuff. So he's referring to it getting dark twice. Food Stamp Fox, 1208. Some people choose some interesting names, don't they? I'm in Western Kentucky. I went outside. I'm not making fun of you, brother. I live in Western Kentucky. I went outside and it was very dim. I waited a minute to see if it got darker. It started getting brighter. I thought I had missed it since I was close to totality. Got my welding mask to look, and yes, I had missed the darkest part. So at this time, it was starting to brighten a bit. I went inside again for a minute and came back out, and it was very dim again and stayed that way maybe a minute. I looked back at it through my mask, and it didn't make sense because more of the sun was exposed at this time. The time between dim times was maybe 8 to 10 minutes. Thank you, Food Stamp Fox. I appreciate you reporting in from Western Kentucky. TSWM3578 got dim on mountainside of Charlotte. Got dim twice here looking at pictures now. I saw 3 planes with trails or tails. Yep. Thank you, sir. Yes, this is Ellen Damo 3067. Yes, I noticed Roswell, Georgia, noticed around 3:30, dark again, then by 4, bright again. I was at work and not outside the whole time, but I noticed through the window there was a catch in my spirit, and in that moment thought that it was strange that it was dark again. Thank you very much for your comments. Max Maximus, North Carolina, my brother Chris. My sky in the foothills of North Carolina was whited out, but it got weird darkish about 2:40. Then again around 4 p.m. and some change around 4 p.m. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate your comment, brother. I hope you're doing well. YouTube Truth. Young man, I am so glad. Watch the Woman Dragon sent me your link. Okay. I am subscribed to your channel now with a notification. I am going to review my video, and I would like to predict exactly what time, how long the duration of the pale light lasted. So apparently they filmed the whole thing, it sounds like, and they're going to go back through the video. If you want to get a hold of me and let me know, the phone number is 843-402-8827, or you can text a link to your video if you can upload it to that same number. Jose Rosado, 8633. Jose Rosado. I wasn't Boston, Massachusetts. I was in, I think you meant to say Boston, Massachusetts. And it was clear skies, except when they began to do a bunch of lines up across the sky. You know what I mean? That is. It only got partial, but it came back fast. It was weird. Let's just say I don't know. Okay. Thank you from Boston, Massachusetts. Tammy later. Central Oklahoma. Perfectly blue, cloudless sky. I looked out the window just in time to see several planes spraying a crisscross over one spot. I honestly can't recall the time lapses as I was very busy yesterday. But even though we weren't in the totality path, I kept wondering why it seemed strangely dark throughout the afternoon. I was assuming I wasn't able to figure out what occurs during the course of an eclipse. Sorry not to be of more help. Oh, Tammy, thank you for your comment. You are of help. I appreciate it. You just noticed that it was darker longer than it should have been because it got dark once, then got light again, then got dark again. That's just what went down. It's obvious. I've got 300 testimonies here I'm trying to read through. Anthony, yes, I am in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, 80 miles north of Toronto. Around 3 p.m., I was driving when everything darkened for a few minutes, then got brighter. Then around 15 to 20 minutes later, it temporarily got dark again. I thought that was weird. Thank you, Anthony. Sandy Parley noticed it in Connecticut, meaning in Connecticut it got dark twice as well. Skylar Hall I had very close family members and friends end up in the ER over the weekend. Something didn't feel right, that's for sure. Yeah, I know of some people, some acquaintances, people I know that had some family members that went to the ER as well and had to be strapped down and all kinds of amazing things. I even heard of some demonic possessions taking place where the person even levitated off the bed. From credible people that I know that seen this with their own eyes. It's pretty, just absolutely incredible. I'd like to share the whole story, but don't want to get too far into people's business. Linda, I live south of Birmingham, Alabama, and we had 88% visibility. It got light dark, then light appear, and then very dark, about 30 minutes apart in time. Yeah, Linda, how can we explain how that works, right? Sword of the Lord. Yes, Detroit area. Meaning it got dark twice in Detroit area, and it's got 2 thumbs up there at the time. So some other people from Detroit must have seen it. Me and my son saw the same thing. This is David Jarmian. And we are all around Columbia, Missouri, the other side of the 80 plus totality. Thank you, sir. Sarah Noah, I have a photo that shows the projector. They tried to cover the sky with chemtrail clouds, but it came through on the photo. Well, Sarah, text that photo to 843-402-8827. I'd appreciate it. We'll show it on the show. Ascending the Truth happened here in Blue Ridge Mountains, south central Virginia. We were under heavy cloud cover, but I did notice that it got darker briefly, and then within an hour it got dark again, late afternoon, sometime after 3 for the first brief darkness. Thank you, Ascending the Truth. And that is the truth. We know that this happened. I think I got, come over here. This is a very long message, I think. Okay. Let's go. Let me see if I want to read this one. Hang on. Well, I saved this for some reason, so I'm going to read it. This is user and a long number of numbers. You know who you are. Was in Northwest New Jersey, 94% eclipse. I went out early at 3:02. I went out early at 3:02. It was already 20% covered. I yelled to my mom. It already started. Like there was another sun. It wasn't in sync with the TV. No one saw the moon before it got close to or after it passed, which I think is very odd. I saw coverage at 3:02 p.m., about 20%. Stayed outside for almost an hour. It got darkest around 3:20 to 3:45. That's way too long. I felt temperature drop. The angle changed more than 45 degrees. Then it got dark again around 3:50. I was still outside. Birds went back to roost the second time. But why did they take over 45 minutes? Did it take over 45 minutes to pass the suns? But Maine had 3 minutes of totality. I got a horrible migraine. I know that. Clear sky to light clouds to heavy clouds to clear. They were spraying around noon. It changed from seeing the sun on top to over 45 degrees, closer to 65 degrees, honestly, to the left. I also thought odd that ABC, aka Disney, sent their number one national spokesmodel, David Muir, number one rated national nightly MSN News anchor, to Burlington, Vermont. They announced that Friday. I used to live there. He was right on the lake, Champlain. Not a cloud in the sky in the line of totality. Last stop in Maine had clouds and 4 minutes of totality. But I don't think I should see a partial up to 94% for over 40 minutes. Buffalo was very cloudy, but they knew to send him to Burlington. It seemed like the sun went in and out of a portal like a switch being flipped. light to dark. How long was partial supposed to last? I believe full-heartedly this proves the earth is flat, and the sun/suns and the moon are inside the firmament. Forgive me if my times were a little off after 3:50 p.m. My migraine was pounding and I couldn't really focus on TV, but I knew what I saw. Did anyone see the sun appear to shoot large solar flares, straight over your head? I saw two, and something long, thin, and green before. I saw like a dragon or a snake. I thought it might have been floaters, which I don't usually get, but I feel like there were objects coming out of a portal where the suns were, all straight over my head, not left, right, or down. I'm in Ringwood, New Jersey, 5 miles south of Orange County, New York state, 30 miles northwest of the George Washington Bridge in New York City. It sounds crazy, I know, but this is what I saw. Thank you, user with that long name, numbers and letters behind it. I do appreciate you taking the time to type all that out. And so thank you very much, brother. And we're taking all this into consideration. This is Paul, 8926. I live in New Mexico, and I noticed at approximately 10 in the morning, it was getting very cloudy. Then they started spraying in the clouds. It started getting darker by noon. Till 4 p.m. The temperature dropped at that time as well. At 1 p.m., I started having lunch. Then suddenly I started feeling ill. It was a very ominous day. Oh, yeah, it was. April Carlson, 08, said, our oldest son in Oklahoma noticed it. Meaning it got dark twice. We weren't in totality either. Thank you, April. Miss Marima, where we were in Pennsylvania, it got very near 100% coverage, which shocked us. Just for starters, we were told 88 to 92 around here. We were watching for an hour. We did have clouds come and go, but we had a large portion of time without clouds. It all seemed to be going normally. It looked like the moon was covering the sun from our right to left. It did get darker twice here too, but that was far less scary than what happened before the second time when it went darker. My son asked, do you feel that? We both felt something very negative. Then it became very cold very fast. It was pretty far covered when the moon and the sun began shaking. I was confused. I asked my son, do you see that? He had shock and fear in his voice and said, it's wobbling. It's shaking. He is a grown man, so that was concerning. It was like an earthquake in the sky, but the ground was solid. I glanced down. It was so bad, I became nauseated. Then I looked back up and was only minimally shaking. And it was no longer going right to left. It was going bottom to top of the sun. I think that's all of it. Thank you for that. That's very, very, very interesting about the sun shaking. The moon and the sun began shaking, and both of y'all guys noticed it. You see, I have some understanding of what this is. You could call what I think this is related to as what's called solar climax. Okay, the sun and the moon The moon is the feminine energy and the sun is the masculine energy. And when you bring them together, the things in heaven are just like the things on earth. When you bring them together, you have a possibility of a solar climax. Yes, I mean what it sounds like, but I don't mean it in a vulgar way. I mean that this everything in the world works the same as everything in the heavens, and also everything in our bodies. You see, even the Bible discusses this about when the sun and the moon go dark and the heavens shake and the ground shakes. No, we haven't seen the ground shake part come yet, have we, in the path of these eclipses? Will we? I suspect so. Thank you very much for that comment. Shirley Hodge, 3524. I agree, I am no expert, but the lighting seemed off and did not make sense to me. I have two cousins that live in Texas. It seemed to be a few minutes. Then at one point, the sky got really dark, like it was going to storm. Natural News, Mike Adams puts out a lot of info, and apparently some experiments were going on. Yeah, I suspect there was a lot of experiments going on. Shirley Hodge said, I thought the darkness and the light fluctuated. We've seen this, Shirley, we've seen this in one of our live cams where the light was fluctuating. It was almost like the sun was vibrating. We did see this, and we talked about it a little bit on the live show from one of our locations. And all of y'all guys that did film for the live show on Monday, I greatly appreciate you, and I thank you. I wasn't able to give every single person a proper exit interview and a proper thank you, but just know that I am gracious and I am grateful of what you did. A response, I think, to Shirley's comment was, I was in Edinburgh, Texas, and noticed the same fluctuations. It was cloudy, but there was an opening at the sun. It seemed to eclipse and then move away and then eclipse again several times. Very weird. Very weird indeed. Jake McIntyre. Another thing I noticed, the temperature dropped big time. Kimberly Dyson responded, yes, here in southeast Louisiana, the wind suddenly got strong and cold, coming from the south off the Gulf, then back to the normal warm. And Enlightened Jess responded to all that as well, said, big time, even the trees began to droop. Once it was over, bees and birds returned to like they all were before. I'm in western North Carolina near Boone. So the trees begin to droop. Wow. I wish I would have noticed that. R. Coleman responded too as well with that and said, yes, after it went through, so did a cool air flowing through it. Stream of cool air flowing through it. Thank you guys for all of your awesome effort in these comments. Truth Hurts says, I'm in Western PA. It went to the high 90s in totality. Then went dark again for an amount of time afterwards. I thought was strange. Not fully understanding eclipses, I shrugged it off, figuring it was just different phases at different positions as it moved, shadows lingering. Yeah, Truth Hurts. Yeah, no. The darkness will go, it is supposed to go slightly dark, getting darker, getting dark to its darkest, and then start getting back lighter, and that's it. It don't go light to dark to light, and then back to dark, and then back to light. That is impossible, yet it happened. Fallen 4299 says, I am in South PA, and it was very clear in the sky, and we never got dark. It wasn't even darkish. Wow, that is a trip. That's another person saying where they should. I mean, they're in South PA. They should have gotten some pretty. I'm all the way in South Carolina and got dark twice here. Why would in PA would it not be noticeably darker? Something's afoot. Jellyfish Cat says, I live in Western Pennsylvania, PA again. I saw it got dark twice. I thought it was just me. I can't say I remember how long in between, but it couldn't have been more than a half hour. WCMW Fab 935 says, yes, Southern Oregon, 20 minutes in between, overcast. Thank you for your comments. Disco Audrey says, we were in 100% totality from 128 to 132 Del Rio, Texas. And it got like 8 to 9 a.m. p.m. dark. All the street lights were on. All the solar lights were on. Chickens went into their coop. It was pretty cool. Two odd things. Number one, we live in the desert and we never have clouds. Guess what? It was the cloudiest day we've ever had. Number two, friends and family post on Facebook from Oklahoma, Colorado, California, all were showing the amount of chemtrails in the sky. Yep, Disco Audrey, that was a noticeable thing, and there was a purpose behind it. We don't have all the answers here yet, but we have the questions. You have to have the questions before you can find the answers. You don't find the answers and then get the questions. Deborah Rack, I saw it, meaning getting dark twice. Fredericksburg, Virginia. Kelly Gillies, spraying was crazy in Ontario. Night before spraying created black clouds. Wow. Thank you for your comments. It didn't get dark at all here where I was, but our news station in New Hampshire showed a video of a time lapse, and I noticed it got dark twice. How is that possible? Exactly, Sandy Perry. J.L.1217. What I noticed was no moon in the sky whatsoever before or after the event. I was outside all day and looking for it. Yep. Okay. Electric Fawn. Noticed it, out here in San Luis Obispo, California. Also, the birds stopped singing twice, and our animals acted real nervous. And then he also said, also on TV, they were showing some sunspots on the sun during the eclipse and said that wasn't normal. Okay. Interesting. Open Eyes said, so glad you did this video, Daniel. I thought I was losing it. I'm on Eastern Long Island, New York, and definitely noticed it. And even though we had scattered clouds, as you said, the lights funny seemed to get normal light about 3:30 or so. Then that funny shadowed look again around 4-ish. That's what I experienced too, Open Eyes. But I really wasn't watching the clock that closely. I wasn't either. I wasn't expecting it to get dark twice. Certainly not my first eclipse either. So I do wonder what's up with this. Yeah, I was in the 2017 eclipse in totality on the 33rd parallel in McClellanville, South Carolina, in the center of totality. So I've been through a total eclipse before and know what happens kind of and understand it and had years to think about it. And this one was different in a lot of ways. The only Lacey Lavender. Hello, my sister, Lacey Lavender. Lacey says they faked it. I told y'all they were faking it. And she got 31 people thumbed her up before I took this screenshot. Titus to 13 in eastern Washington state. We had clear skies and the brightest sun I've ever seen until about 20 minutes after it started. And then a thick cloud cover rolled in the rest of the day. It was very strange. Yes, it was, Titus. China 6498. We were in totality in Indianapolis, Indiana. It never got completely dark, only like dusk, just after sunset. What was strange is that even with a sliver of sun visible, the daylight was still much brighter than expected. It was like an overcast day, but with the sunlight glaring off shiny objects. It was really weird. Once totality was over, it was a tiny sliver of sun visible. The skies brightened quickly back to almost normal. My adult teenager was in Tennessee, and she normally never gets sick, but she did during the eclipse with nausea and extreme fatigue. Yeah, that seems to be a theme here, an attribute, a pattern is people getting sick during the eclipse, which I heard none of back in 2017 during the eclipse. People getting sick. You know, we'll get to the bottom of this soon enough. You guys just bear with me. Father will lead me to the truth. And I kind of already have some theories, you know. Enrico Danette, something like that. I noticed this in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It got dark once, lightened up a bit, then got dark again 25 minutes later. Thank you, Enrico. Debbie Steele, Tennessee was in totality. It was very overcast, but saw the eclipse clearly. Very odd. Yet Tennessee was not supposed to be in totality. Yeah, that's right. Trust me, I put together a whole map and studied. There was not one single town in Tennessee that was supposed to be in totality. I wonder, Debbie Steele, what part of Tennessee you were in. And because you shouldn't have got that. And look, she's got 6 thumbs up. So other people in Tennessee seen that it got totality in Tennessee. It was not supposed to get totality. Nothing makes sense with this eclipse. Lovey do for you. Another strange one. Anyways, starting before 10 a.m., they were heavily spraying a beautiful light blue sky. They were heavily spraying a beautiful light blue sky. It got eerily dim in southwest Ohio from 2:30 to 2:45, if not earlier, lasting much longer than 4 minutes. I was able to look at the sun, and it would go from regular size to huge and glowing, and then back to regular size again, repeatedly with up to 4 layers of different huge halos glowing around the sun, with long, thin light streams running north and south. Beautiful but unnatural to any sight seen beforehand, like the sun was slowly. Did I miss the rest of her message? Oh my, I did somehow. Gosh darn it. I find some of the stuff you're saying here really interesting. It says the sun would go from regular size to huge and glowing, and then back to regular size again, repeatedly with up to 4 layers of different huge halos. Wow. Did you get any footage of this? Lovely do for you. Different huge halos glowing around the sun with long, thin light streams, like hair flowing, I would bet. Long, thin light streams running north and south, similar to the gentleman earlier talking about seeing stuff flowing through the air. Beautiful, but it was unnatural to any sight seen beforehand. Thank you for that comment. I'm sorry I somehow managed to not get the last half. Allison Smith. What happened in western Arkansas is there was a laser red looking line coming out of the bottom left part. It was near opposite edge that started to show the light of the sun again as totality ended. Also, my AT&T iPhone was disabled from using any apps from 12:30 to 3:30. So 2 hours, you couldn't use any apps. And then again overnight until 8:30 a.m. I could text and make calls and had 3 bars of internet. One last thing. Both my mom and I got faint green circle in our pics just underneath, and we were a quarter mile apart taking pictures. Well, that could be lens flare. Depends if you know what a lens flare is and how to identify it. Or it could be something else. Text the photos in, or any video that any of y'all guys got. You can text it to 843-402-8827. And I'll take a look at it, and I might include it in a future video or show with the Supernatural Show. Freebird, the chemtrails in the Midwest were thick and sprayed all day, even after the event. Watchwoman of the Dragon. Yes, North Carolina conquered, meaning she's seen it get dark twice with 9 thumbs up. Rockin' 7E. It did absolutely nothing here on the east shore of Maryland. Never got dark, never seen an eclipse, and they were predicting 89% totality for this region with 12 thumbs up. Rockin' 7E. Never did nothing. No, not even a little bit of weird light on the ground. No, nothing. Wow. You see, guys, nothing makes sense with this eclipse. I'm in Kentucky. It was weird. This is Amanda Evans. When so-called moon was covering, I got a overwhelming feeling and started to cry. It wasn't like the last eclipse. I had to go sit down, and as I was sitting, my 3 dogs come over to me and just stood by my side. There were 3 other people with me. They were still looking at it. It seemed like it lasted forever. While I was sitting, I didn't look straight at it without glasses, but you couldn't miss it because it looked like a big looked like a big LED light shining down at you. Sometimes something's not right. Also, chemtrails were being sprayed before and after. It freaked me out. Both eclipse. Somehow I might have missed the bottom of hers too. Darn it. Thank you for writing in. I'm sorry I missed the bottom of yours too somehow, Amanda. Skylar Hunt. It was darkish in northern Illinois for about 25 minutes straight. Very strange. It definitely got darker after the supposed eclipse for about 10 minutes. Thank you, Skylar. Bill F. writes, 2300. I was working outside the whole time and never really looked up, but I noticed that it was darker, and immediately the mosquitoes came out. And when it began to get lighter and I thought it was over, it got darker again for about 1 or 2 minutes. And I thought that was weird. I did not look up, but I distinctly thought it was weird. That is weird. It ain't natural. I also noticed it's a good sign that something was supernatural or something was faked, or maybe both, I would say. Kelly Gillies. I also noticed an orange circle around 7 o'clock at moon's bottom, not natural. Jacqueline Miloski. Thoughton, Colorado. Didn't get dark at all, but when my neighbor gave me her eclipse glasses, I saw just a sliver of bright orange. Didn't get dark at all, but all you could see is a sliver of bright orange. Really? That don't make no sense either. Thank you, Jacqueline. I appreciate your comment. Tanya Pilch. I noticed something weird, but wasn't really sure what I was looking at. But I swear I seen 2 discs. I appreciate your comment there. And Glenn Bruce said, see, I'm not tripping either then. So Glenn Bruce seen 2 discs. Very interesting. 2 Feathers 911. I'm on the east coast of North Carolina. I didn't notice I didn't notice it happened twice, but it seems to me that when it happened, it seemed to take place longer than it should have. I was outside under a large magnolia tree when the atmosphere changed. I stayed there until about 3:15, and I felt like it should be over by then, so I went back inside. But the atmosphere had not changed at that point. It wasn't totally a light change, it was an atmosphere change. I felt it was odd. Thank you, Two Feathers. At Last Generation, 5862, Aiken, South Carolina, my neighbor here. Aiken, South Carolina here, and yes, the same happened here. It was very dark. It was very, very dark for way longer here. Almost darker than it was at our peak coverage, which was around 80% at 3:08 p.m. After watching the eclipse, I came in, did a few things, and noticed both of my cats still on my bed where they sleep, not in the windows where they usually soak up the sun daily. By 5 p.m., they still had not moved. No clouds in the sky at all, but gloomy looking, weird darkness. So I think the cats noticed it too. Yes, I'm sure they did. The Last Generation. And I think your YouTube channel name is appropriate. Eagle 14771. What I don't understand is how long it lasted. If they are moving, why did the eclipse stop for 3 minutes? Patricia Taylor said, good question. Chiming in from Surprise, Arizona. Not only did it get darkish twice, the ground stayed this weird pinkish color. No clouds or trails here. We got 76% totality at 11:20, and I noticed it looking strange outside again around 4-ish. Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, so hopefully that info will help you. So they got 75% totality. The ground was staying a darkish color, pinkish color, and that their totality, or their closest to totality, was at 11:20. And then they noticed that it started looking strange outside again around 4-ish. That is interesting. Phoenix Ariella, or something like that, right here, said also in Arizona, inner city Phoenix, it got dark around 4 p.m., which was very odd. Yeah, 4 p.m. to get dark, that's like around the time it was dark here, and I'm on the other side of the United States. It shouldn't have been dark there then. It was in the morning time for y'all guys, like around 11:20. How did it get dark at 4? Nothing makes any sense. I mean, we're getting some common attributes, some patterns, of course, but, well, y'all guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Sold Out Sister. It got so dark in Ohio, the barn light sensor was triggered and came on. Bev 4155 said, saw same thing in Ohio here. Carrie Mays, Southern Oklahoma, out in the country, we were at 95% totality. It started getting light again, so I took my elderly mother home. Started off on a 1.5-hour drive to my home near Oklahoma City and noticed it was much darker again. I thought it was weird, but let it go until I saw your video. People were pulled over on the interstate, probably wondering why it was darker again. I didn't stop or look up again. Thank you, Carrie. Okay. Here in western North Carolina, in Boone, it got dark twice. The first time it came through, the trees began to droop, no bees or birds around. Then I thought it was over. Went back out with the family again, and it was dark all over again. Dusk then, this guy's mentioning the trees drooping again. This is a different comment. Dusk then once, over the bees and birds went flying. trees brightened up, very odd experiences that happened twice in 30 to 40 minutes time span. This person replied to them as, I live just above Lenore in the valley. My daughter and I watched the same thing. It covered, then receded some, then covered again. I was so confused. It was very different from the last eclipse. Another response to that was they were spraying starting early morning in Baltimore, D.C. area, where it was 90% totality. They were definitely trying to hide something. I felt extremely tired and had a headache. Sounds like others did too. Owls, rabbits, and deer came out around 4 p.m. Eastern time. Blessings, Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. Another response, 7:30 a.m. in Ohio, skies were clear. 8 a.m. the chemtrails started making grid lines all over. Even people who aren't well aware of them noticed. Yeah, I'm hoping a lot of people got woke up by some of this stuff. We Fly Soon said it got very dark and the sun became like the moon shining at night, and the temperature dropped drastically. It got very dark and the sun became like the moon shining at night. Wow. Here, Kitty, Kitty, Kitty said, we had a homing pigeon hanging around our front porch during front porch door area all afternoon during the eclipse. Poor thing looked disoriented and confused. It rested for hours. I gave it seeds and water. It eventually left when the sun was setting. I'm thinking the bird's magnetic field was messed with big time. I think you're right. Here, Kitty, Kitty, Kitty. Got a lot of replies to this one. Okay, Warrior Yacht or Warrior Biatch. Y'all guys are a trip. What I can't figure out is why I was told in elementary school. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, I remember this one. What I can't figure out is why I was told in elementary school that the eclipse we were viewing was the only time in my lifetime that it would happen. Question mark, explanation, question mark, explanation. This was in the late 70s, early 80s in Wisconsin. I'm so confuzzled. So he's saying that in school, elementary school, there was an eclipse, and they said, you're never going to see another eclipse in your lifetime. And we got some replies. Chalier Deemed says same with 8 thumbs up. Jeanette Wilson says same with 7 thumbs up. Bill F. Wright says same here, about 1978 maybe, with 7 thumbs up. Lady Marmalade says, yep, me too, with 7 thumbs up. Mel 40ish says, yep, same here, was 1979. I was a freshman in high school, with 5 thumbs up. Amy Lynn A says same. Keith Bernard says everything we learned in public school was a lie except for those things they needed us to understand in order to become a slave, basically, he was saying. Because he lives, says, yep, I was born in 74, seen the eclipse that was once in a lifetime in about the 5th grade around 1984-85. And, of course, we're told you never see one again. We live in a simulacrum. Probably closer to the truth than you realize. Lacey Lavender, they lied. Open Eyes 411 pretty much hit the nail squarely on the head there, Keith. Aloha Angel, yep, same here. So what they're saying is, again, that they were told in elementary school they would never see another eclipse. Well, we've been on eclipse roll, haven't we, here in the U.S.? You say, well, that's judgment. Okay. Father in heaven tells us to watch. to prove all things. All things. He didn't say prove just things, certain things. He said prove all things. That's what we're doing. This is just another image that I happened to take out in the skies. There's another one. That one I picked up the phone, it was 322. Here I picked up the phone and it was 1106. Of course, it was 9/11 upside down and backwards. Okay. Here is an interesting video I wanted to share with y'all guys too. A couple of fires broke out in the middle of the woods during the eclipse and totality. Take a look at this. This is during totality, and that's why it looks dark. He'll show it here in a second.
The totality fire.
The totality fire.
Right in the totality. Hard to see. Let me see.
Here you go.
There it is. Everything is just pitch black except for the fire. That is cool.
Now, I said there was more than one. No, this guy's kind of got a bad word at the very end of this.
Oh.
So you can see its totality as well. Oh boy, yeah. So I don't know. It's just a couple things I noticed. Okay, just a couple things I noticed. This is actually in like Israel. There was some rockets spinning around on Israel and Iran, I think it was, spinning around in circles above the city, and people didn't know what in the world was going on. This is just an interesting photo. The guy is seeing something in the sky. He's taking a picture of it. Of course, you got totality going on, and you got something down over here that he could see that looked kind of weird. And this person thinks they caught the...
Yes, oh my God. Oh my God. I can't.
They see something in the sky. Totality's over to the right. And they're filming it. And they don't know what it is.
Oh, this is a comment.
I can't get on my camera.
Oh my gosh.
I can't get on my camera. I can't either. That's so crazy.
For this one.
Oh my God. I can't get it.
Yo, this is a comment.
I can't get on my camera.
Oh.
I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. But they were pretty excited about it. And let's see. Just another interesting photo. Kind of strange. This is an old, out of a book drawing of an eclipse and a comet during the totality of an eclipse from many years ago. 1800s, I think. This is an image of the Devil's Comet, as they have calling it, right here in the center of the screen. There you go. Supposedly you can see it with the naked eye from some locations, and if you've got just a pair of binoculars, you can see it. You'll see Jupiter in the west sky after the sun sets. Look to the right of Jupiter and down a little bit. Look around from eye level of Jupiter to the right and down a little bit, and you'll probably be able to see it. And just another photo of that weird kind of thing over beside the sun. Of course, this is partial eclipse kind of thing going on there. Yeah. So just a lot of weird stuff going on. And I wanted to bring all these comments to you because we need to get our minds wrapped around what happened. Because something, well, not just something, but many things were not right. Something went down that we don't understand. And it may even be as much as, I mean, like this video here of this object cruising through. We've seen, what, 2 other videos as well. And this thing showing where it's cruising through and it looks like it has wings. Come on. What are we talking about here? Demons? The essence of something? Did something cross through the portal? Was there a portal created? Was it a real eclipse? Or was it something else? I mean, we got a lot of questions, but we need to find the answers. And to those guys, those of you that answered my little call for help with getting the internet back on, I greatly appreciate it. I got it back on. And we'll keep soldiering forward as long as I can. I live on a shoestring, to be quite honest with you, but I'm living. And I'm doing Father's work. So I'm okay with that. I love you guys. If you appreciate this video, all my links are down below. You don't have to have a PayPal account or Cash App or anything like that. There's links down there where you can donate $10 and don't have to have anything other than a debit card. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. This has been Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority.
I've got one that can see.
Logic Before Authority.